Matt Justice here for Tackle Trading. Wanted to walk you through a little bit of a bearish downtrend, pattern recognition, and whatnot. Just kind of bring it back to the basics. And the reason that I want to do this today is because last night during the recent edition of the Trading Justice podcast, episode number 39, at the very beginning of it, I brought my daughter on, and basically she's 5 years old. And I was teaching her a little bit about pattern recognition, and it only lasted about 5 minutes. But basically, what I was doing, I was drawing like a circle and a circle and a square, and then another circle, circle, square. And I said, well, honey, if this pattern continues, what's the next pattern? And she would say circle, circle, square, kind of that repetition. Well, then I brought it into trend analysis, and I said, honey, if you have a higher high and a higher low, higher high, higher low, what's the next pattern? And she would say a higher high. And then I pulled up a bearish downtrend, and I was like, okay, babe, what if we have a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, what's the next pattern? She would say a lower low. And it's amazing how even a 5-year-old can really kind of get that, how they can understand what probability assessment is without even comprehending it, because it really is innate. You know, as we grow older, we have a tendency to basically question things, to second guess things, to do all that thing in terms of the second guessing, but we shouldn't. Everything is just pretty straightforward, and the markets really are fairly straightforward. We have a tendency to make them a little more complicated than they truly need to be. So I pulled up after I did that, I pulled up a stock, and all I did here is look at the short-term trend right there. And I said, honey, if you have this movement here, and I drew it for her, I said, if you have a lower low coming into support right there, and now you have a lower high coming into resistance right there, what is the next pattern? And she said lower low. And I just thought that was just so amazing what you could kind of teach even a 5-year-old how to see trend analysis, pattern recognition, and whatnot. And so when we're looking at this, then we've looked at Cena, and kind of looking at Cena right now, we have a nice little bearish downtrend. You broke down out of your movement right there. That's neutrality. You broke down right here. That's the bearish breakdown. Now, when you look at kind of a trend and patterns and all that, the movements are actually fairly straightforward. And if we're looking at this, okay, this is kind of what Cena is doing. It was going up and down and up and down, and finally it broke down. Well, right here when it breaks down, right there, that is what we label a bearish breakdown. If you want to just think about it in terms of numbers, let's put up that's number one. So whenever it does number one, you can sell that pattern. So that's number one. Number two pattern, the second pattern in the process, this is a pattern called overextended. And I've talked about overextended patterns in prior sessions, but if the standard movement is $7, $8, $9 and it moves $10, that's overextended. So it gets into overextended, and this is pattern number two. So let's label this pattern number two here. Let's give big highlights. So that's right there, pattern number two. And then pattern number three comes back into resistance right here, starts to slow down, confirm going back down. That is called the bearish retracement, and that is pattern number three. So let's put that as pattern number three. Let's make it all big so everybody can see. So basically the mindset for the trader here is we're going to sell one, buy two, sell three. Now when we're buying two, it doesn't mean we're buying the stock, we're buying call options, whatnot. All that means is we're closing the trade that we made at one. So we're going to short here at one, we're going to buy to close at two, and we're going to short at three. Or if you're trading put options, you're going to buy a put here, you're going to close the put option at two, and then you're going to rebuy at three. So coming back now into Cena here, let's look at that short-term trend here. Coming back into Cena, we have a trend that's, right there labeled one. It against overextended number two, comes back into resistance number three. Now what I really like about this, you see how the trajectory is coming up, 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 and then it kind of just consolidates here. Well, I would definitely want to see a little bit of a downward movement on the stock before we got into those put options, but at the same time we're going to assess this as it is right now. So we're going to buy a put option here, but we got to technically target the stock. So we're going to enter into the position right around 41. We're going to place a stop loss up here at about 42.5, and then we're going to target a Fibonacci number. Let's draw that Fibonacci. Then we're going to draw a Fibonacci number, and we're going to target somewhere between $34 and $30. Let's first target just the slowing momentum target of $34. So we got right around $7 of potential return for the potential of $1.50 risk at a slowing momentum target. And so now what you do after you've prepped that trade, we just log into our broker, type in Cena, apply the rules. Let's go out to March. Let's go buy the 60 delta, buy. And you can do a buy custom with stop or whatever, but I'm going to buy. Let's just do a single contract here, and let's just confirm and send. So we're going to buy, and then I'm going to go to the chart, and because I don't like using stop losses in the options market, I'm going to put an alert. So I'm going to create an alert at my stop loss of 42.5, which will tell me to take action at or above. So we're going to create an alert right there. Then I'm going to create an alert at my target, and that will be at or below. And my target was 34.30. So let's go ahead and create the alert right there. So now coming back to the monitor tab here, we have here on the Cena trade, we have our put option, we're into it. We have an alert already into it. And now we just have to go ahead and we're in the trade, and now we manage the trade over time. So that's kind of the whole process of pattern recognition. And guys, if a 5-year-old can see the pattern recognition, I promise you, you can too. Let's not make this difficult. Let's keep it simple, and let's get out there and let's take action, guys. Check us out at www.tackletrading.com. Gino's got a great new scouting report up for you pro members, and I wrote the newsletter as well. The Coaches Show coming out later today with Coach Tim and Coach Noah. They will be manning the Coaches Show for each and every one of you, and hopefully we'll have another podcast coming on tonight that you can check out at iTunes or at tackletrading.com. Matt Justice for Tackle Trading. Hope you enjoyed the video on the bearish downtrend, pattern recognitions, and buying a put option on Cena.